to the No Expiration Date Podcast for women 50 and better who are ready to shake things up, try new things, and live life on their terms.
We are your hosts, Cindy and Anne-Marie, two women who know that life after 50 is just getting started.
Whether you're reinventing yourself, chasing a dream, or just looking for real talk and good laughs, you are in the right place.
We'll cover everything from career pivots to wellness, relationships, and embracing this bold, beautiful season of life with confidence.
So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's chat.
Because the best is yet to come.
Ladies, welcome to the first episode of the No Expiration Date Podcast. We are your hosts, Cindy and Anne-Marie, ready to kick things off with a bang. We are excited to have international fitness icon, entrepreneur, lifestyle coach, and speaker, Monica Brant. In 1991, fresh off the ranch from a small town outside of San Antonio, Texas, Monica, an athlete and equestrian, hit the industry by storm, ushering in the recognition of a fitness model and athlete into the bodybuilding world. Since her first appearance as a cover girl for Muscle and Fitness magazine in November 1994, Monica gained momentum and still remains at the top of the female fitness world, evident by her unprecedented national and international magazine exposure of over 100 covers and almost as many articles and interviews to date with fans worldwide. Competitively, Monica attained highly sought-after titles: first ever IFBB Fitness Professional Athlete, IFBB Fitness Olympia Champion, WBFF World's Pro Figure Champion, and PSA Overall Women's Figure Champion. She also appeared on stage with multiple top 3 placings in a span of 25 years between fitness and figure competitions. Now in her 50s, Monica is still at the top of her game. As an athlete, she has kept sprints in her program for 25 years, which led her to train competitively in the USA Track and Field Masters program. She earned All-American awards and top 3 spots of her age group in the USA for all 3 of her favorite races: 100 meter, 200 meter, and 400 meter. Besides physique type training and sprints, she has tackled Spartan obstacle course racing and American Ninja Warrior training as well. Certified through International Sports Science Association and International Board of Nutrition and Fitness Coaching nutrition coach, Monica travels the world worldwide, sharing her passion for health and fitness through both guest appearances and her personal women's fitness events, FEM, Fun Educational Motivational Camp, founded in 2004, and Body and Soul Women's Retreats, founded in 2016. In 2020, she launched the Monica Brant Show, which you can subscribe on YouTube, bridging the legendary athletes that helped form the history of bodybuilding and fitness to the current leaders of the industry today. In 2023, Monica launched her podcast, Minutes with Monica and Radiantly Living podcast on Substack, where she shares her deep dive thoughts and ideas on scripture, her walk of life through her personal devotions. She resides in Texas with her high school sweetheart, Brad Jouett, world-renowned American Quarter Horse Association professional horseman, and continues to bring awareness of great health and wellness to people all over the globe. Monica is currently working on her new book and Standing Firm program, which is coming soon.
Hey, ladies, we're excited to have Monica Brant here today. And we just want to know, what have you been up to?
The big question. Let's see. What have I not been up to? Well, let's see. I am working on a new project right now, and I don't have the complete title yet, but it is on building better posture. But I know, right? Physically, and there's a really simple way I've put it together. It's something I've coached for a long time, and I'm trying to put it into text. So there'll be an ebook come out. And then coupled with this is also like a 7-day journey, if you will, or guide on also building spiritual muscle.
Oh, what is that exactly? What is spiritual muscle?
Working towards understanding and developing your faith. I'm a Christian, so I have over these years. I mean, I've been a faithful, loving Jesus since I was a kid. But as the last 10, 15 years, I think I've just really developed a more personal walk with him and understanding scripture more. I've been writing the last 2 years. I've been doing devotionals and my prayers. So basically explaining how I see scripture through my eyes, through my, the lens and what God is putting in my heart when I read. And I've been writing that on a platform called Substack.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been doing that. And then now I'm doing this ebook. So it's called kind of Standing Firm. It says all through scripture that we are to stand firm on our faith and the hope that we have in the return of the Lord someday. So there's a scripture called, or not called, but it's Luke 21:28. And it says, when you see these things approaching, when Jesus is talking to the disciples at the time, and he's talking about end times. When you see these things, so right before all of that, verse 28, he's giving them a whole unfolding of what to be watching for in the world. And then we will understand that as a Christian, you'll understand that this is heading towards the end of times that we know of, how we know it, and to look up because the Redeemer is drawing near. And when I read that a few years ago, it dawned on me that people are having a really hard time looking up, physically looking up, and also emotionally and spiritually. And this has been just something I've been working on developing, is how to put all of this that's in my heart into words. And because people have poor posture now, you guys know, and it's gotten younger and younger. You see the kids with kyphosis coming and forward head position. And then, it affects so much physically. And that doesn't go away unless you work towards fixing it or, keeping it from happening. You have to be diligent in doing it. And just like building your spiritual muscle and understanding understanding the word of God and how does that relate to your life, and how did, God gave us a manual of life, which is the Bible. And It's like, if we don't read it, we don't really know what God has for us in this world and how to walk through the world with him. It's not just I'm going to church on Sunday or, Saturday or whatever. And then the rest of the week, God's not a part of my life.
Right.
So this is about learning how to blend him into every day and to apply the word of God in a way that makes sense.
I like that.
It's called Standing Firm. It also says through all scripture that we are to stand firm. And of course, I want people to be able to look up. Because right now it's hard for people to look up. Number one, they're physically unable to, if they're got, forward head position, hunchback, right? You can't look up. If you're just so down into your phone and your devices all the time, you're not going to look up. And then that creates a lot of insecurities and depression and emotional trauma because of what is on the devices. And then the other thing is, I think our body, when we are in this unfavorable posture, it creates our brain not to be able to do what it needs to do to deliver nutrients, deliver information to the body. And now the body, mostly in the upper body, is collapsed on itself a little bit. So there's so much. We can't breathe correctly. We can't get deep breaths. People don't want to exercise. They're not able to breathe right. And then they've got all these issues with their shoulders. And it's just this whole kaleidoscope of things that come from not just simply not being able to have good posture, but then I think it stems into the spiritual and the emotional. So I've been working on this in between. My husband and I have a horse training business. So I'm out at the barn a lot.
Very fun.
I help out there. I know. I love it. It's wonderful. And I'm still doing my exercise, and I do a lot of consulting and what I call radiant living consulting and coaching.
Okay.
Lifestyle coaching.
I was going to say, okay, lifestyle fitness coaching or just life
like
coaching?
Saying life. Because it is nutritional and exercise programming, but I find that people, when they come to me, they are looking for that. But what I think is really underneath is that they need some support on their spiritual walk as well. So I do a lot of spiritual development with people along with them, and share, things that I've experienced, how scripture relates to their life. And it's kind of an interesting place that I think God has me in right now. And it's been a lot of fun and rewarding in a lot of different ways.
I think people would be attracted to that because that's a whole journey. It's the whole body. Mm-hmm. Just like moving towards greatness.
Well, we are a body, soul, and spirit.
Right.
We're three parts. We're not just this body, and we're not just a spirit. I think we're a soul that has a body and has a spirit. And my understanding of the word spirit in the old language, Greek and Hebrew language, it means breath and wind. Like it could mean those other things. And so that means that it's either alive or it's dead. Our spirit is. So, and if we have a dead spirit, then we're disconnected from God because it's life. So, I think it's, there's a lot of interesting ties in there. And, I've noticed when people, because of course in my industry, been, 30 something years in the fitness world, you see a lot of really great physiques, but then when you get to visit with someone, you can find out how insecure they are. Yeah. They don't have, maybe there's no joy, right? There's a lot that's missing sometimes when someone just focuses on the body and that's all they focus on. They miss out on this other part of life that is important. So I think that it's got to, and then you find in just the same thing in the faith-based, you find a lot of people that are so focused on that they have neglected their health.
Right. And balanced it all out in their life. Yeah.
So I think that, I think the body and the spirit, if you wanted to look at it like train tracks of life, and then the soul is the train going down, and the soul is where our mind and our will and our emotions, and those are so affected by what we do with our body and what we do with our spirit. So I find it's kind of an interesting, way of being able to work on both at the same time. And it blesses us and it soothes our soul. It refreshes our soul. And we have our emotional roller coaster isn't so crazy.
Right.
The will is a little more contained. We don't have this crazy will, we'll do whatever we want. We have a better understanding of how it's going to affect you. Right. So I don't know. It's kind of big loaded answer, right?
But I like that because I wouldn't think I do like working out, but I wouldn't think of putting the spiritual aspect into that. So that's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've taken the Lord's Prayer and utilized this because we all pretty much know the Lord's Prayer, and there's a lot of really wonderful aspects to it, and 7 specifically. So again, I'm looking at that 7-day body weight stuff every day. There's a body weight thing to correct and help with posture, like physical posture. And then there's going to be a spiritual, if you want to call it study or guide for each day. And by the end of the week, there's part of Ephesians 6 and part of 1 Thessalonians 5. There's 2 different set of 7 ideas in scripture that are, so every day you'll look at one of them each. By the end of the week, you'll have all of Ephesians 6 on the spiritual armor of the Lord. You'll understand that and have it readily available in your heart. And then the other 1 Thessalonians 5, I like to say it's kind of our spiritual guideline to just literally walking through life. And there's 7 things there. So it's like each day has a different kind of thing to think about and understand. And then by the end of the week, you've got better posture. You're feeling lighter on your feet. And then you'll have those scriptures that we're supposed to know what's in the word. So this is an opportunity for someone to kind of read it, understand, learn, and then have that chunk of scripture in their heart.
When do you think that will be released?
I'm hoping to finish it, first draft anyways, within this next few days.
Oh, wow.
And then I have a few people that want to read it for me to kind of look at it. And because it's just, right now, it's just my ideas. So if you want to read it, I would love to send it over here and let you guys snoop through it. And then I have someone that's ready to put it into ebook form for me. That's where it's going to be in the beginning. It may end up going further, and maybe I'll end up somehow putting a program together with it. I don't know.
That would be cool.
Yes.
I like that. I like putting those together.
Thanks.
So, how has your relationship with fitness and exercise changed over the years since?
Well, let's see. The last time I competed was 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. So since then, and I competed in the fitness figure, and then I was training with the Ninja Warrior.
Oh, cool.
Stuff for about 4 years. So that was a lot of fun. I competed in track in my 40s, and I loved that. I've been a sprinter, competitive person in track in the past, but now, when then I was in my 40s. So that is something I'd like to get back into at some point. But as far as, this last decade, I've been at the barn a lot working out there, and my training kind of took the back burner, my type of training that I like to do. But that was because I needed to be out there to help. And when you're working with horses and in the ranch and all of that, it's a lot of manual labor.
Yeah.
And you're tired. You come home and you just want to shower and clean up.
Yes.
It's a whole workout.
I lived on a farm when I was in high school. It's early mornings before school and late nights after. So
so
it's a lot of work.
This last 2 years, though, I've gotten back into my type of training that I like to do. I haven't been at the barn as much. We got some more help out there, so it's good. I'm able to kind of get back. So I do a lot of. So I think right now for me, my goal is to maintain muscle. I'm not looking at competing anything right now. I still go to the track and do sprint workouts out there. I go hiking. I'll do a 5 to 7 mile hike with a weighted vest. So I just try to do numerous different things as well as continue with weights.
We'll invite you next hiking trip we go on.
Love it.
Yeah, we're on a mission to conquer every state park
in Texas.
And we're a 3 miles radius. So we've hit all the local ones.
So I go to one only because, it's just, I'm just going for my little workout.
Yeah.
It's the one here off
Frederick.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right. And there's a lot of variables. So, and that's 7 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really easy.
Yeah.
And but that would be fun. I don't have anybody else that I go hiking with. So if y'all end up doing
you just met 2 people that love to hike.
Well, let me know.
Hiking photos.
Join you ladies. That would be really nice.
Very cool.
Party, I'll go.
We go anywhere from 5 to 10.
7, yeah.
Sometimes we go
sometimes accidentally crazy. 12.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I never thought about adding the weighted vest.
That's a good idea.
It's great. It really is. Because it just, the more weight we carry, the more our muscle has to work. And anything we can do to maintain muscle is important. So my vest is 10 pounds.
Okay. I have one of those. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a little one.
I wear it anytime I'm walking. And I have a neighborhood kind of like yours here. It's got nice hills and all that. So I do a lot of exercise with walking kicks and lunges and all squats, air stuff, body weight stuff outside. So when I'm doing my cardio walks, I'll do that. And then I do backwards sprints uphill. I like to do backwards stuff as much as I can. So.
Is that for glutes or anything?
Well, years ago, I overdid going forward up in lived in Austin because I came from LA.
Bee Caves does have a lot of hills, that area.
Yeah. So I was living in LA and I was on the beach and on the track. Okay. That's one. Those are both awesome things. But then when I moved to Austin, we lived right in the hill country, and I just had these massive hills. So I kind of overdid all the hills, and I was having some issues with my hamstrings and all that. So I just started going backwards to relieve my hamstrings.
Oh.
So it puts pressure on different muscle, and it's also really, really good for knee strength.
I need that.
So going uphill backwards.
Well,
Or-
even just flat backwards.
Okay.
Any backwards movement is extremely good for the strength and the health of your knees.
Okay.
Interesting.
Good to know.
My knees hurt all the time, every day.
See, I don't have any knee issues, and I've always wondered, but I started doing that in 2006, and I've always gone backwards, and I'll do backwards uphill sprints or just walk or what.
Okay.
Like today, I have a farmer's walk session that I like to do once a week at home. And I have this right in front of my house is about, 150 meters or something. And I'll do a farmer's walk with two kettlebells, different weighted, one's heavier, one's lighter. And I'll go up and then I'll switch the kettlebells and then I'll come down and then I'll do a backwards sprint up and then I'll come back and pick up kettlebells again. So I do 10 sets of that.
Oh, wow.
And then the backwards things. It takes me about an hour to do the whole thing. And I wear my weighted vests and it really is a great workout. So try to just be as creative as possible.
Yeah, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I just walk a lot on the treadmill. I need to take it outside
Girl,
for sure.
Be outside as much as you can in that way. Because then, if you need the treadmill for something
Rainy
here and there,
days. Yeah.
that should be your alternate than being outside.
Right.
Nothing like being out and just utilizing your full stride and then I like to do things while I'm outside. Like I'll stop and do sets of 20 or 30 squats or lunges or low lunges or walking kicks or something. So I'll end up doing like 4 exercises and 100 reps each while I'm out on my walk, which I can't necessarily do on a treadmill, right? So
yeah.
Plus you're outside.
Yes.
Yeah. I have bad allergies. I'll work around the allergy season.
Yes. So my next question, I guess we're talking I know you focus a lot on weightlifting but there are a lot of women out there that only look at the scale. And how can women shift their mindset from that weight loss to then look at strength, longevity, and overall well-being?
I think one of the most important things is for anyone, men and women, but we're speaking, I guess, primarily to women right now, is having a little bit of understanding goes a long way. So what I mean by that is muscle is our longevity and anti-aging tool.
Yeah. And
the more muscle we carry, yes, maybe the heavier we will be on the scale, but that is because it increases bone density, right? Mm-hmm. It is our furnace. So we can actually burn more calories with more muscle. Mm-hmm. Now, the problem I find for a lot of people don't know this, maybe not the problem, but the unknown is that if we have a dormant muscle that doesn't work and doesn't get the right type of contraction and more than just once a month,
right?
That muscle is considered dormant and it can't take in nutrients. So it ends up, instead of being more like a sponge that could absorb nutrients, absorb carbs, even when we eat carbs, that muscle ends up to be more like a stone instead of a sponge. Mm-hmm. And so then what's happening when you have insulin is it's trying to get those calories and store them somewhere. Well, if the muscles are dormant and they're not being worked, then they become too hard and they don't allow for nutrients to be pushed into them. So that's where we end up with more of a insulin resistance and less insulin sensitivities. And then we end up with, diabetes too, because the body's producing way more insulin trying to get this effect. But the muscle is so important. And especially as we get older, we lose muscle. It easily lose muscle.
Right.
Our body doesn't process proteins as well. Maybe other foods, maybe, there's other you're not active as much as well as you get older, right? So, in general, so the body has, it's just more, it's got more lethargy in it.
Yeah.
In the even the lymphatic system, because we're not exercising maybe as much, isn't getting worked and not getting moved. And so there's a lot of toxins that get built up. So I think that educating women on why they need muscle, number one, you're going to burn more calories overall, even at rest. Even if you take a day off here or there, you will burn more calories in general.
Right.
And you also have muscle that can absorb nutrients, absorb carbs, even so they can have it stored, because carbs actually get stored in the muscle as well. So if we are using the muscle, then the muscle can use the carbs. If it's got a storage of carbs in there and the muscle's not getting used, then it doesn't go anywhere. It just sits there, right? And then, of course, if it's got too much, then where does the carbs have to go somewhere? The calories have to go somewhere. So that's why they end up going into, fat storages.
Right.
So the more muscle we carry, just overall, you're going to look and feel better. You're going to have stronger skeleton so that we can lift things heavier just in general life. I mean, or bring things off a high shelf or these things, right? That we don't want to have to depend on someone else to do. So the muscle is just so important to understand and then to keep that muscle and to maintain the muscle, to build muscle. Like, it takes a lot of work, right? I know I've heard this for years. It's like, I don't want to get all bulky. Like, you have to work so hard and eat so much food
to get bulky.
Yeah.
It's not like all of a sudden one day you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I accidentally put on muscle. Like, you have to be diligent and work at it. And then even when you are, you have to do a little bit more. Like, it's because our body doesn't, when we eat, especially now, a lot of people just don't eat enough protein either. So the protein is so impactful too, because your body has to use protein for, it has to use protein for all of your organs, your brain, like your muscles, probably the last thing that gets protein. So we have to be diligent. We have to be focused on getting in the protein and doing something. And it doesn't have to be every day. Like, it has to be realistic, where we use the muscle, it gets worked. And, everyone's going to be different. Like, I've been sprinting my whole life. I'm 54 and I've been on the track. I go do a sprint workout, all day long. So I would never have someone that doesn't do that go try to do that.
Right.
You have to start where you can and build on that. And I know someone's recently just
I was going to ask you about your sprints. I'm glad you're getting into that.
I love it. So someone asked me just the other day, they're like, what would you say is the best exercise? I'm like, the one that you'll do.
That's
I'm not going to tell everyone you got to go do sprints. I mean, I've been doing sprints since I was a kid. But you think about this, all of us started doing sprints when we're kids, and you have children, right?
Right.
Or they're not children anymore, but but what do kids do when they're little? They run as hard as they can run, and then they stop.
Yes.
And they maybe walk or sit or stand, or, whatever. And then they run again. Well, we stop doing that as we get older, right? It's just not, you don't do that when you get older.
Yeah.
Unless you make yourself go and do that, like at the track or on a field or somewhere where you can do it safely.
Right.
Right. I wouldn't suggest doing it on the road if you can help it. Pounding on concrete's not the best, but unless you're going backwards, then you're not, it's a different type of sprint, and it's not as jarring as trying to go forward in a sprint. It's just different, but
I'm going to try that.
You have to be outside for that.
Yes. And you have a perfect hill out front.
I have a lot of hills. Even just going all the way around, like, that's a workout. It takes an hour just to go through the neighborhood.
Wonderful. I love it. It's so awesome that you have this outside. Take advantage of it every chance you get.
I'm like anti-sun.
Oh, girl, I'm outside in the sun, and I stopped wearing sunblock. I don't wear a hat. I feel like we've been lied to by a lot of people about how negative the sun is. I think it's actually,
necessary.
We need it.
Right.
And if you go listen to all the people that do biohacking stuff now, every one of them's like, get in the sun, get in the sun, get in the sun, get in the sun. It's so good for us. And I think we've been lied to because number one, they want to sell, sunblock and all this, but you put all those chemicals on your face, on your skin, and then your skin's like, yes, I wear some makeup, but when I'm outside, I'm out there. I quit wearing my hats. I quit wearing my sunglasses even because I was like, I want the sun in my eyes as much as possible. I'm not out there for like 6 hours, maybe if I was out there for 6 hours, but I'm out there an hour, 30 minutes, an hour, maybe 2 hours at the most. So I don't find that that's going to be an issue in the long run. I think it's going to be safer and healthier.
Right.
I feel better when I'm outside and having sun on me. I feel better.
And I do love the sun.
I do too.
So the mornings are your best time to get the sun on you. And they say the first break of dawn, like that first morning light, is the best for our hormones and for our skin and to have it flood in our eyes. You don't need to look at the sun necessarily, but just have it in all over you. And then, the more skin you can uncover. And then, of course, getting on the ground, barefoot, grounding. You guys, I'm sure y'all have heard of that. Mm-hmm. So I've taken this and I go out in my backyard. We have a green belt behind us. It's pretty private for me. And I just got there and I'm barefoot, whatever clothes, that minimal. And then I take my Bible out there and I read in the morning. So sometimes it's like 10 minutes, sometimes 20, sometimes 30, whatever I have the time to do and feel to do. And I will walk like pacing in my yard while I'm reading. And it's been a really neat opportunity to get the sun, do the grounding.
Right.
Say hi to all my flowers in the back, on the squirrels. And then have some time with the Lord and just read his word.
What do you feel that does for you?
Well, the energy that I receive from all of it, again, we're talking, go back to the beginning of where it's like, it's a physical and a spiritual, right? So I'm connecting to God's land, right? Mm-hmm. And the sun. And then I'm also connecting to the SON, sun, right? God's son as well, through his word. So I'm increasing my energy through my body in the natural way, but also through reading his word, because it says that his word is the manna of life. It's the bread of life. So we want life. We need to understand how God created us and how he has us and how he would like us to get life.
I read somewhere that getting that natural sunlight first thing in the morning is supposed to help with your sleep. Mm-hmm. Like is it the circadian rhythm?
Yes.
It's supposed to be really good for that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
It shuts off the sleep hormones and it wakes up the wake hormones. So I think, if you dove into a little more, there's a lot more benefits than just that, but it's definitely, if you haven't done it, at least, try it. Give yourself a few minutes outside every morning that you can.
There's that guy out there that started the Don't Die movement. Have you heard? I can't remember his name, but he does that. He does first light and then he does everything, workouts outside before the UV rays are the strongest, but he does everything outside barefoot.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's interesting. I'll send you the information later, but
yeah, my husband and I were laughing about it this morning because I was talking about grounding and I said, yeah, but you don't want to have a bunch of fertilizer on your grass. He's like, I know, I can't fertilize. I said, our grass looks great. We don't need fertilizer on it. So God will provide.
Watch out for Texas fire ants.
Oh, they're all over my backyard. I know. It's always like, come on, guys. You have all of that woods out there to go in. They like your grass though.
So we kind of we talked about strength and cardio, sprints and stuff. How do you balance all those things with flexibility as well? Like, how do you incorporate all three things into your program?
So So we just, right now, I don't have a gym membership anywhere. So we have a little room set up at home that we've got our weights and hang bar, and I've got a Vibe plate in there and a rebounder, and we have different, tools. And so I do, before any weights, I have about a 13, sometimes 15-minute warm up that I do. And it's between dead hangs. I have ab stuff I do from the hanging bar. And then I have the Vibe plate that I use, this full body vibration plate. And then
I just got one.
I love it. And so I have my little Tabata timer on, and every 30 seconds I'm doing something. And then I have a 10-second rest and movement. And I like to do stuff that opens up my shoulders, opens up my hips, opens up my knees, low ancient squats, whatever. And I do a lot, obviously, on the Vibe plate, and then in, different movements that, open up hips and all that. So I focus on a more of dynamic movement things. The dead hangs have been great for me. And then, of course, I add in the core piece on the hanging bar. And then, so that happens 3 times a week at least, because I'm in the weighted room there 3 times a week. And then if I am at the track 1 or 2 days a week, I have a whole 30-minute minimum warm up that I do that includes all kinds of track drills and dynamic movements out there on the track, all body weight stuff. So I'm constantly doing those type of movements. I don't do a lot of static stretching.
Right.
If I feel like doing it, I do. But I do mostly dynamic movement. And then I do a lot of fascial roller. I like to use that. So I move through that. And sometimes that's kind of like my active recovery. If I'm doing something legs, I'll do that for upper body. Okay. Or if I'm doing upper body, I'll do that for legs. So I'm always I don't really just take a minute and sit there and twiddle my thumbs waiting for the timer to go. Right. Like I'm constantly putting something in.
Right.
I have a whole program that I am doing that came from a guy who calls himself the knees over toes the knees over toe guy. You can look him up. He's got millions of followers, and he's developed a whole series of body weight stuff that you can do to strengthen your knees. Because he had knee issues, and he created this program that he has put out. He's got a little book. And so some of the things I had already been doing, but I have been consistently doing his program. But like I said, I've been doing back, and part of his program is going backwards.
Okay.
But like I said, I've been doing backward stuff since 2006. So I think that's been good. So I like to put things in my rest periods that I'm still doing something.
Right.
So yeah, I think the biggest thing is just being conscious of the movement. And I like to also do on a recovery status, I probably every 5 or 6 weeks, I'm getting a deep tissue massage, 2 hours.
Yeah.
I need to do that.
And I have a guy that's incredible. So he works on all the little weird places and spots that need extra things.
I just think as we get older, we get tighter, just keep moving, and dynamic stretching. It definitely, I think, is better than the static stuff for sure.
Yeah. Like I will, if, I sit with husband and he wants to watch a movie or something, I will do some static stretching.
Right.
Usually I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay, well. But for the most part, I like to have movement in it. I always feel like it helps me with my body and with my brain. So.
Right. Yeah. So what advice would you give women who's struggling with body image, especially as we're getting older? Because we don't look like we did in our 20s. And it's hard to even get there again because with menopause and your hormones are all out of whack. What advice would you give to women just to help with that?
Well, I mean, I'm walking through it too. So it's a learn as you go. But I think it's being okay with where you are is good, but it's also not good, because I think if we're just okay with where we are, I don't want to, see if I can say that correctly. We have to have some level of being tough on ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
Without being extreme. Meaning, like, if I'm just going to, I'm okay, I don't, whatever, it's going to go bad anyways, right?
Right.
We don't want that attitude.
Right.
But we don't want to be so hardcore, like, oh, I'm looking terrible. I can't, it's finding this beautiful balance of I'm exercising, I'm eating, 80, 20.
Yes.
90, 10 would be better, but we can't do that all the time. There's fun food, there's fuel food, there's healing food. So we have to, and then we've got life, and we've got people that, want you to go do stuff. So,
right.
But, then we have to, sometimes focus on what kinds of food are we getting in. So I find like we just have to take each day, God gave us that day, that moment, try to do the right thing that moment, that minute. If you're trying to figure out, something to eat and you're starving, well, don't just eat whatever's in front of you. Have some plan.
I did that last night.
Try not to be random.
Right.
Random creates chaos.
Yes, it does.
And then, so if we have too many random days, and then I think for us, if we have, I have a skincare program, I have a hair care program, I have how I handle my teeth. I don't have some way, at least for the most part, of how I'm going to handle my nutrition or my exercise. Yeah. It falls apart. And I'm thinking, I would never do that to my skincare routine randomly. Like, oh, I'm just going to leave the house and not think about it. And I'll brush my teeth somewhere. I don't know where, but I'll find it. It's like, we wouldn't do that.
We wouldn't.
Right? We wouldn't say, oh, I think I can wash my face at the grocery store and I'll go buy something there.
That is a really good way to look at it.
We have routines for all of these things, except for, for the most part, unless you're getting ready to compete or you have a goal of a competition or, some kind of athletic event, then you plan for it. But it's like, we don't have to have a big giant goal in order to be routined. And I always tell people, like, you don't have to your food does not have to entertain you all the time.
Right.
And I think we've got stuck in a way of, this, isn't entertaining me. It's a lie that we have allowed ourselves to think that we need.
Right.
The taste buds take over. Right. But I do have a kind of a little weird theory on that. Well, it's not weird, but so if we go back to the very beginning, Adam and Eve, and you think about what was the very first sin. Well, the very first sin was Eve being deceived and tempted by something beautiful to have something beautiful. She saw it with her eyes and it looked good.
Yeah.
She was told it was going to be good and beneficial, and she didn't stop and she didn't stop and analyze it. She didn't stop and, I always like to say, ask her husband, hey, should I eat this? She just went for it.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't an awareness, as far as we can see, as far as what we've told in the scripture, there was not an awareness that she stopped and said, well, let me think about this, or is this going to be good for me? Or is this going to be a profitable long-term? She, just you assume it just went, like,
right.
Yeah.
She was deceived, tempted, and she went.
It was pretty. Let's do it.
Yeah. Right. And so that ends up, if you've heard about generational curses and generational blessings, well, I think that's a generational curse that's gone from Eve all the way to us.
Yeah.
It's something that we as women have a harder time with. And that's why the enemy went to her originally, not to Adam, because
Eve.
We have different needs. We have different temptations. We have our bodies crave. And I mean, just going to go out on a limb. It could have been right before her period when she was craving carbs or food like women do in that time. That's why it's important to understand what your hormones are doing in your body and what it can make you feel like, right?
Right.
So you have a little more understanding, then you can kind of control that. You like understand it. So he could have come to her like, I know she's probably craving more food right now. She might be feeling a little bit down right now emotionally, because that's what hormones potentially, and I don't want to say God didn't create her perfectly, but he did. She had a moment of, maybe a hormone going right that timing. So for us today, if we can stop and think about, because whatever we put in our mouth, food, drink, it changes so much. And then as we get older, like our bodies just don't process things the same, right? We just can't. We can't process the same alcohol, the same sugars, the same. And then if we're not holding on to muscle, then we don't have the muscle there to help balance that out. So I think the more information that women could allow themselves to hear, and then to just take each day as, that one day, do what you can. Don't overdo. Don't try to make up for something that you did the day before, just take that day and be thankful you have another day. A lot of times I think gratitude goes a long ways. And having thankfulness for our body, having thankfulness for what we do have, and not trying to look at what we don't have. Mm-hmm. If we could just be that. And so it's finding those ways of being grateful, appreciative, finding the blessings in life that you do have, because there's always someone that has it worse.
Yeah.
This is just kind of a funny little side note story. I was going to the Arnold Classic a couple of years back, and I was hosting my show there. And I went to a nail salon, and then I had booked with the person that was doing my nails, and he wasn't there. Someone else did my nails, and I hated him. I hated my nails so bad. And I was so upset because I'm like, the next day I had to leave to go to the Arnold. And I was going to be, talking with people, and I was hating my fingernails so bad. And then I was upset because there was like so much money. And then once they're done, they're like stuck on there. Right. And I was really frustrated, and I allowed it to create a frustration inside that shouldn't have been there, but it did. And I remember, I was driving, and maybe it was like 2 days later, I don't remember, but it was, anyways, I remember driving and packing and using my hands. And I felt like God just said, what if you didn't have those fingers to do all the things you're doing? Like, where is your gratitude for what you do have? And it was just this kind of like, it really set me back. And the first thing that came to mind after all of that was, I have a girlfriend that, I don't know if you maybe know her. Her name's Barbie, and she has, she lost both of her arms when she was like 2 or 3 year old little girl. And so she has gone through, and she's in her 50s, and she's gone through life with no arms. Wow. And she can drive. She's had children. She can change diapers. I mean, she does her hair and her makeup with her feet.
Amazing.
It is amazing. And I just remember like, oh Lord. And I just felt like he was so patient with me, and still giving me a conviction and a remembering of what I do have and what I should be thankful for. And that it's not that, I mean, it was, and it wasn't like I was out like mad and, but it was an internal issue. Then I was like, this is ridiculous. But it took him lovingly going, be grateful you have hands to do what you're doing now, and to pack and to get ready, and that you have this place to go. And so sure enough, when I got to the Arnold, I was there early enough where I went and I actually got all my nails taken off and put them back. And I actually ended up meeting some really cool people there at the nail salon and all that. But it was this, and I'm not going to go in that story, but it was amazing. And just having that kind of conviction, because I think God allows us to have conviction of things. We're not, it says we're not condemned by God, but he does allow conviction, and that is where we come and we do repentance. And sorry. And thanks for your grace and your mercy.
Yes.
I do think we take it for granted, just the fact that we're able to get up and even go drive to the gym to be able to get a workout. And
Right.
like you take your, like I'm in decent health, I think, and I feel like I have decent strength. Like I do take that for granted because I'm always looking forward. Like I want to be better. I want to be better,
Right.
but I should just appreciate where I'm at. And I'm 55 and I feel like I can get along. Like I don't take all the medications that I could be taking if I didn't take care of my health. Right.
Right.
I'm not walking with a cane.
No.
I'm not hunched over yet. Like I do take that for granted.
Yeah. It's just finding each day something that you can do, something, that, your food, if you can think like 80-20%. And if you don't know, a lot of people don't know what's healthy and what's, then find someone that can teach you that, right? There's so much out there nowadays too, but there's, my food needs have changed dramatically. And at this point in life, I do mostly like, I'll put in air quotes, carnivore.
Oh yeah.
I'm not like 100% on it, but I find myself feeling way better eating a ribeye with some bacon than having something else. And so I've been eating just mostly protein and a little carb here and there, but it's like we're our own study of one.
Yes.
We have to try
Find
things
what works best for you.
right.
Yeah.
And I think the gratitude goes so far and I kind of go back to where I was in the beginning, like, don't be hard on yourself, but be hard on yourself.
Right.
Get your butt up, go exercise, do something, even if you're not feeling like a big, huge workout, well, go walk. At least get out, go walk. Like do something that is an athletic type for you, whatever that means for you.
Right. Walking does wonders.
Mm-hmm.
But like what you said earlier, but people just kind of feel like, well, I'm in my 50s, I'm married. Why does it matter?
Oh, it does.
It's so important.
It does.
Just for your health, your longevity.
We have to inspire one another too.
Right.
Yes.
And we can't just sit there and want our spouse or whoever, to inspire us. We need to inspire them too. And it's a two-way street, and I know there's a lot of couples that I've talked to where one is very health oriented and really wants to, overboard and, and then the other one is just kind of has pushed off and says, no, it's not for me. And so I know there's a lot of disconnect in that. And those are the ways you've got to find, you just have, if you're going to be in a relationship, you have to find ways of supporting one another and finding ways to mingle that when you can. It doesn't always have to be, but just finding ways.
Definitely.
How does your husband work out and do all the things with you? Or is he mostly just into the horseback?
Well,
It's a farm guy.
all right. No, in fact, about a little over a year ago, he actually decided he wanted to start exercising. And I gave him one simple thing to do a few times a week. And he's taken it and he's created his own thing. And every once in a while he'll ask me and bring me in and say, well, can you look at this? Or he has a question asked, but now he's doing his own kind of research and stuff. So he's, this is his first time in his life to be with weights on this long a time. And I'll tell you,
exciting.
Yeah, it is because, what do they call it? Newbie gains,
Yeah, it's so exciting. It keeps you motivated. I remember those.
And I remember telling him, I said, just because I'm in the industry doesn't mean, when that's my background, I said, doesn't mean that I don't need encouragement or I don't need some inspiration from you. So I find that he's now inspiring me and I'm him. And so it has been
awesome.
Yeah, we've been married since 2012. So I didn't, get into the relationship because he was a bodybuilder and he's a horse guy.
Yeah.
I never told him he had to go work out, but he's now seen that he wants to be strong and he wants to
That's awesome.
Have good posture, and I've taught him how to use his glutes correctly. So he's funny. Now I hear him every once in a while telling somebody about how to use their glutes or something. And I think it's cute. So I want to share this real quick because it's super simple if someone doesn't know where to start. And this is what I did with him. And it started off everything for him. But I said, do one exercise for for shoulders and one exercise for back. So we came up with, okay, what is that exercise going to be? And this was every week you did, if you did 5 days, it's a 20-minute workout. You find, so you have to kind of play with it a little bit, but it's one exercise. Let's say we'll take shoulder press. You do 60 reps in 20 minutes. So theoretically, obviously having weights would be ideal, but it's finding you can't be too light and you can't be too heavy. So there's a real fine balance between, the reps and the weights. And in a
60 reps is a lot when I start getting into
it. 20 minutes. So you set your timer for 20 minutes. And of course, I had him do, little easy warm up stuff like I was talking about earlier. And so at the end, you're kind of, and even if you didn't do all the warm up stuff, if you did your first 2 sets, kind of higher reps, then go on. But so what has happened now is that, he's able to do like 3 or 4 things as opposed to just one thing. And he's, his workouts, can still be at 20 minutes. And sometimes he's up in there for an hour doing his core and all this other stuff too. I'm like, okay. But it's just, you grow from one thing. But it was a really simple way to get started. So one exercise per body part, bicep curl, shoulder press, and it's just one a day.
I like that.
One, because we just keep it super simple, but then you
build on to that.
Yeah, that's really good because people often feel overwhelmed, even like, where do I start? And then they go to a gym and it's so much.
Yeah. No, just
that's a really good way.
Simple thing. And
get
started. 60 reps in 20 minutes and you have your timer and then just stick with the same exercise for a good 2 months. And even with that, you'll see growth and strength come. And then you can, add to it. So now instead of doing one exercise in 20 minutes, maybe it's 3 as like a giant set,
right.
Like I like to do like a Arnold press with a bicep and a rear delt.
That's good.
It's 3 exercises. And so maybe I do 30 minutes instead of 20 minutes or something. But yeah, it's just, I think people try to make it too hard sometimes.
Yes. Try to do too much to start out with.
And keep track, like write it down. I have a whiteboard on my wall in my little fitness room and I'll keep it up for a month and every day I'll put whatever on there. And then at the end of the month, wipe it off and start over, and
that's cool.
That way I can see what I did, when I did it, what weights I used. And so if someone needs to keep track, I like to write things down. I don't like to leave stuff on my phone. It's too much.
Cindy and I had a conversation like, how in the world do you stay motivated after all these years in fitness just to stay in shape and not just be like, oh, I want to do something different or I don't feel like working out? Where does your motivation come from?
I don't buy new clothes. I'm still wearing stuff from the last 30 years that I bought in my 20s.
Really? Wait, really?
I do have some.
That's cool.
That's awesome. There's a few things that I'm like, no, but I say that jokingly, but yes, there are some things still that I do have, maybe from my 30s, maybe not 20s, but I think I like how I feel. Like physically when I'm strong and if I can go to the track and run a 400 and not collapse, like I love that. I love it. I appreciate so much feeling strong, feeling able, like my lungs feel good, and that I can expand my lungs and my heart rate. And I treasure that. Yeah. And if I can't do that because of a time commitment, well, that's one thing. But if I can't do that because I'm not feeling good because I haven't eaten well or had an extra margarita or something stupid, then that is frustrating to me. So I think besides the fact, like I meet wonderful people when I'm exercising, whether I'm out walking in my neighborhood or I'm at the track, of course, I haven't been to a gym in a while, but I don't know. I don't necessarily need motivation. I like how I feel. I have enough experience to know that if I don't stay up with this, that I'm not going to enjoy how I feel.
Right.
And also, there's a lot of times because I like to do things outside without music and without, so I'm able to have prayer time. I'm able to remember and think through things. Sometimes ideas come to mind when I'm exercising that for writing or for someone else or for a conversation that I need to have. I think that the Lord can speak to us when we're having movement too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I've just had so much good experience with my body feeling better, feeling energized and feeling motivated from that. Not motivated to do that, but motivated from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely not a vanity. It's just how you feel internally and how your body moves.
Sometimes, you want to look good.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to wear that, whatever that is. I mean, we haven't been to a beach vacation in a long time, but I have a lot of women come to me like, okay, turn in, whatever. And you've got this vacation coming. What can I do? And I'm like, you haven't cared about it in all these years.
You had the whole body change immediately.
So women that are starting to care about it, and they hear this, where can they find you?
Yeah. So monicabrant.com is my website. And I have a contact page there. I do consultations for people, and I, of course, still do the Radiant Living coaching if someone's interested. But my ebook will be coming out soon. I hope that will be a blessing for people.
It is.
Yeah. So that's and of course, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, but
you also have your YouTube channel, Monica Brant Show. Yeah.
Clicking through there, listening to all the people like Nicole Wilkins. I thought that was such a great interview. Like, she's such an awesome person.
Yep.
And it's funny because we do her challenges a lot. We do all the challenges, but it's different when you listen to them and try to get to know who they are. I was like, wow, Nicole Wilkins seems like a real down-to-earth, chill person.
Yeah.
Considering who she is.
I mean, look at Monica Brant.
Especially the fact that you're here with us today.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
I mean, I've looked up to you since I started lifting and working out in the early 2000s. Yeah, you were all over my wall. So having you here in front of us and, coming in and joining our first podcast is just amazing. And I appreciate you. And I will, I'm forever grateful for you being here.
It's been fun. It's fun to get to visit and share and hopefully just bless other people.
Yes.
I mean, I'm blessed by y'all's conversation, and hopefully, we'll get to go hiking.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I love Frederick Park. That's a nice park.
It is a nice park.
Yeah.
I was there last night and did my little 5-mile deal. And
did anybody recognize you and be like, oh my God, Monica Brant?
No, I don't think people look that closely. Everyone.
You're right. We don't.
Yeah.
We walk fast.
But if I did see you there, I'd be like, oh my God, it's Monica.
No, no one said anything last night to me, put it that way, but everyone seemed to be kind of doing their own thing. Yeah. And then there's people together and they're talking. And then a lot of people have their ear pods or ourselves.
I did want to ask, do you do any heat or cold therapy, like the cold plunge, sauna, hot tub?
Yeah, right. So I am a fan of, I have done cryotherapy since 2011.
That's so weird talking about your legs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So cryotherapy since 2011. And back then I still lived in Austin and there was only one place to go. Now there's, tons of places you can go. And they do have the infrared lights, saunas. So I do like those. And I did, when I was racing and track, I was doing a lot of ice baths.
Yeah.
Okay.
In conjunction, not the same day necessarily, but opposite days or something of cryotherapy. I don't like to do ice baths, but I know afterwards how good I feel.
Right.
So I'm motivated through it to continue doing them, just like I talked about before.
Yeah, I haven't done either. I'm a distance runner. Probably need to do more sprints, but yeah.
Well, if you do sprints, it'll help you with your distance.
Yes.
Oh,
we incorporate it into our training. So
good.
Just, I probably need to do it more.
See, I'm like, I don't want to run any distance if I don't have to. I was like, I like to just get it in and get it over with.
Yeah. How often, or I should say, how long about a day do you work out? 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, or it just depends on what you feel like doing for the day?
It could be 30 minutes and it could be, and if it's anything over an hour, it's usually because I'm at the track and my warm up is say 30 minutes.
Right.
And then depending on the workout could be an hour. But, with the sprinting like that, you do 400 and then you have, maybe 3 to 5 minutes off.
Yeah.
Or more, depending on how fast you're trying to go. If you're trying to go all out, then you need more recovery to do another all out. So, sometimes the session is extended based off what's called for recovery before you do another rep. If I'm in a gym, per se, a gym setting, if I'm there for an hour, that's usually a 10 to 15 minute dynamic warm up, probably a 30 to maybe 40 minute workout with all supersetting and kind of whatever and active rest. And then it would be, so it wouldn't usually be much over that unless, in the past when I was competing, I had some cardio to do afterwards.
Yeah.
Go jack up the treadmill as high as I can and walk slow, read a book.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do if I have to do that. I have a step mill at home, those revolving step.
Oh, yeah.
So
those are the devil.
I still do a lot of reading on that.
That's good.
I can last about 10 minutes on
I don't even know. 10 minutes.
Slow it down.
Yeah.
That's the thing is when people get on stuff like that, they think they have to go so fast and you can't keep up. And then they're like hanging on it. And now they're going to end up tweaking a shoulder or something. Yeah. So I always tell people, if you're going to be on a machine, do not hold on. So you have to go at a pace that you can maintain while you're not holding on.
Yeah.
Or if you have to hold on, then you're doing it wrong.
Right. Yeah.
So slow it down. Put the, incline up, whatever, unless you're looking to do a quick, little sprint on there and then, maybe put your feet off to the side or something. I mean, there's so many different things you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that that revolving staircase, like I'll do sprints on it, but I do have recovery on it too. But sometimes I just want to read and or I'm on a phone call.
Oh yeah.
So I'll just get on there and talk while I'm walking real slowly. At least I'm not sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love the 20-minute workout, one exercise, pick an exercise. I feel like that's such a great way to get started in the gym.
Simple.
Yes. Anybody can do that.
Yeah. And because of how it's structured, you will, there's going to be a harder couple sets in there because you can't do all high rep.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll be done in no time. Yeah.
I know I work out here, but I wasn't pushing myself and we joined a gym and just the accountability, first of all, like I'm going to have to go because I know she's waiting for me. Mm-hmm. Like there's no getting out of this.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
I'm pushing myself. Yeah. And now it's like, you have to have that overload to progress. But I love working out our whole friendship started with fitness.
Yes.
And it just grew into a deeper friendship through the years.
It did start with fitness. Mm-hmm. It did.
That's awesome. That's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to have someone like that in your life.
Yeah. Because I think I still would always work out, but if I didn't have someone constantly pushing me, because even last night I was finishing, I think I got home like at 8 or 9 from working and we meet at the gym at 6. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I just want to sleep in. I was like, are we still gymming tomorrow? And she's like, absolutely. I'm like, that's what I needed to hear. That's exactly what I needed to hear. Not like, no, let's just sleep in.
I know, right? Just sleep in.
I love sleeping.
Yeah.
Especially as you get a little older, you kind of appreciate more of the rest time when you have it.
Oh yeah.
And we should say that sleep, like quality sleep, is really important.
Very.
Oh yes. Yeah. We didn't even bring that up.
I mean, it is really important that we, especially us women, get that quality sleep.
Yes. It's hard when we want to do so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we know your time's valuable, but thank you so much for coming, joining us.
To get across all the questions.
I don't know if we did, but I looked at them and it's like we kept talking and covered pretty much everything. If there's is there anything you wanted to add that would be helpful, you think, for women 50 and over?
Well, there's a couple products that I just want to touch on because I have used them myself for 15 years. One of them and the other one for 10. But one of them is a egg white product.
Oh, yes.
And the Egg White International.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a pasteurized and filtered egg white product. It is not raw. And it's made so you can drink it so that you get 100% of the absorbable protein. Since it's liquid, then we can absorb it 100%, as opposed to cooking it, denatures it.
Yeah.
Or, protein shake, you're only going to get maybe 60, 70% of that protein that's there. You can absorb. So this liquid egg white is 100% bioavailable, meaning if you take in a half a cup is 13 grams of protein, you will absorb 13 grams of protein. So it's really awesome way to get in more protein throughout the day because we're trying to push for that at least 1 gram. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Per body weight.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to tell people more like just try to get 100 because most people are barely making 50.
Right.
So if we tell them lean body weight, they don't really know what that means. And most of us, if you say 100 grams and you just aim for that number and start figuring, okay, well, let's see, 4 ounces of chicken is going to be 24 grams of protein. 1 egg is 6 grams of protein. Eat the whole egg. So with this product, you can get more protein in easier. For instance, I brought some here today to do my shake. So before I drive home, I have my little egg white and protein powder. So just an easy way to get in extra protein. And like I add mine to bone broth or soups.
Oh, yeah.
I add it to my coffee.
That's interesting.
It makes it kind of frothy. And I put a little, I have a butter bomb that I put in it and a collagen product. So, and then, you can use it in teas if you want. Like I've known people to put it in margarita. Kind of defeats the purpose because I think when you're drinking alcohol, you can't absorb, your body can't process and absorb proteins. So, would say you want to be careful about that if we're trying to increase our muscle densities. But so the Egg White International, if someone is interested in receiving that, it's eggwhitesint.com, eggwhitesint.com. And you can use my name at checkout, just Monica, for a discount. But I would like to encourage people to actually call the company and speak to Mac. He's the owner, Mac, and tell him Monica sent you. And then he likes to do like a consultation with people, help them to get the best prices. They show up frozen. They have a gallon and they have gallons and half gallons. I usually get 4 gallons at a time and I have an extra freezer, so I keep them in there. And then they can stay, once you open the container, they can stay open in your fridge up to 3 months.
Oh, wow.
So if you're by yourself, you're not going to go through it as fast as if you're with a family that's all using it. And you can refreeze them.
That's cool.
How crazy is that? So that's a really good product. The other one, and I've been using that one for 15 years.
Is that the green container, green label?
It's green and white. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think I've seen it.
Yeah,
I didn't know you could drink it just straight out the...
Well, you can. It has like a kind of a saline type flavor.
Okay.
It's very mild. Yeah, exactly. Because it's got, eggs have salt.
Put it in my Red Bull. See how that goes.
No, you can. You can. It takes on the flavor of whatever you put it with.
Oh, cool.
Some moms have used it for their mac and cheese for the kids, cereal. Of course, I don't, recommend cereal, but,
Put it in a protein shake.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is for digestive tract is the Aloe Life. And it's called Aloe Life International or aloelife.com.
I heard you talking about this the other day.
Yeah, it is incredible. The product, the owner has been making this line since 1991. It's very highly concentrated, organic leaves, the whole leaf. Like it's the best on the market as far as it's not watered down at all. Okay. So there's an internal line and an external line, and the owner is a clinical nutritionist from her past, and she still works with a lot of people to heal their digestive tract. So it's an incredible line, and I can't speak enough good things about it. It helps with allergies.
Oh, I need it.
I mean, yeah. So it's something you want to get on and stay on consistently every day.
So is it a drop or is it a pill?
She has, it's liquid, and then she also has tablet form.
Okay.
If you're traveling, it's kind of hard to take liquid with you always. And she doesn't believe that we should ever have capsules because they're really hard on our digestive tract. So
oh my gosh, I take so many capsules a day.
Yeah, she's always telling people, open your capsules and put whatever it is on food or something so that you're not taking in all the capsules because they really can be damaged. They can be damaging.
I never even thought about that.
Like a silica made out of something like that.
Yeah, and if they get stuck in any digestive compromised areas, they can create, ulcers and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, so her line is really good. And again, if you go to allolife.com and then Monica at checkout, 20% off anytime you use it. It's not just for the first order. And they also are very helpful if anyone has, I just sent a girl to her that has severe Crohn's.
Oh.
So I just sent her to MAC. She got the egg whites. She got started with egg whites. And she got over, and the owner had a long talk with her from Aloe. So
that's cool. I like that they do that.
Yeah, very hands-on.
Yeah.
Again, these are people I've known for years, right?
Yeah.
And that I work directly with. And so anyone that goes with my name to those places, I mean, I know they take care of people anyways, but, they're extremely helpful. So, and you get a discount anytime you order through my name. And then, any help you need. So I always like to say with the Aloe Life is I found Aloe. I found their Aloe Detox product, and I wanted to try it. So they had a buy one, get one free at the time. And so I bought it and was using it. And I was working with a lot of clients at the time that had a bunch of different digestive issues. And it was just kind of in the beginning when people started talking publicly about their digestive issues.
Well, we're getting colon cancer earlier and earlier now. I mean, so.
Right. Well, a lot of back then, people just never, I had one girl that talked about her back in the early 2000s. I was coaching and I didn't know anything. I didn't know about aloe. I mean, I did not understand how to help her. She at least knew what she could and couldn't eat. She had ulcerative colitis or she had IBS.
Yeah.
I think so. And she at least knew she wanted to compete. And I worked with her for a few years. I wish I had known about aloe back then, but I didn't. But just slowly, people that I started working with started telling me more. And I guess I started working with a lot older women. And older women usually have more digestive issues. You've been around longer, you're not taking care of yourself as well, et cetera. So anyways, I found Aloe Life, and I called and I ordered the product. And then I called one day to talk about one of my clients with Crohn's, actually. And because it was still kind of new for me. I don't know what to do with this. And so I ended up talking to the owner for about 2 hours. She didn't know who I was. Yeah. It wasn't like she reached out to me and said, I want to bring Monica Brant in. It was like we got to know each other over the years. And so I just can't speak enough beautiful things about this line and how many people I know personally that she's helped.
That's right.
And has helped coach them to better health. And she's got books on her site that she's written as well. I actually brought a couple of little flyers for you guys. So.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I need to try it for my allergies. My allergies are bad. And I love hiking and being outside. So.
Yeah. A lot of that has to do with what you are eating and what your body is, how it's reacting to what you're eating with combination of, the outside pollutions. So anyways, this will be helpful for you.
Yay.
And anyone else that wants to call and
check it out.
Yep.
Check it out, people. Aloe Life and Egg Whites International.
Yes. Digestive health and extra protein. I mean, the two things that we need.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you been doing 80-20 for a while?
Well, yes. Yeah, but of course, back when I was competing, it was, more 99. I was on stage for almost 26 years. So
yeah. Pretty amazing.
I just have to, I look at it that way because, again, I like how I feel when I'm here, right? I mean, there's been moments definitely where I didn't stay as clean and I paid for it.
Yeah. I know if you eat clean, then the first bad meal you have, you just feel horrible. I've gone through that at least 100,000 times.
I'm sure we'll still do it, right? There's too many opportunities for fun foods that entertain us.
Yeah, because when
And
you get
there's-
together with people, let's meet at a restaurant.
Right. I started trying to do more walks with people when I need to meet with them. And I have those kind of like, I don't want to just go sit and eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's not so many
idea.
Podcast on a walk.
Good, maybe.
When the sun goes down.
Or early in the morning.
Yeah.
Fine stuff. Well, this has been great getting to share with you guys. And
Yes.
thanks for having me on and
Thank you.
Absolutely.
share all the things that are on my heart and in my mind. And it's nice just to get to brainstorm with you ladies.
Yes.
Looking
yes.
forward to the
Thank
ebook.
you. Yes.
I like that it's all encompassing. I think.
Yes.
And it's only 7 days of information. And then, obviously, it's something that's 7 days, but then it will last forever.
You can go back to it anytime they want.
Yeah.
The goal is after that 7 days that you're moving, you're standing, moving, exercising with more awareness and understanding of how to get your body into the correct position. And then the scriptures that I go through, hopefully by the end of the 7th day, there'll be a memory that is always there that you can call on.
Yep. That's good. I like it.
It's buried in your heart. I like your logo and everything. It's fun.
Check it out, monicabrant.com. A big thank you to Monica Brant for taking time out of her busy schedule and joining us today. And thank you to our listeners for spending time with us on the No Expiration Date podcast. Remember, your story doesn't have an expiration date, and neither do your dreams, your strength, and your growth. Whether you're stepping into something new or reclaiming something forgotten, you're right on time. Until next time, keep showing up for yourself and keep rewriting the rules. Stay bold and beautiful.
Podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are our own and do not constitute professional advice. While we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, we make no guarantees regarding the completeness, reliability, or accuracy of any content. This podcast should not be considered a substitute for professional guidance in any area, including financial and business matters and legal. Any actions taken on the information presented are at your own risk. Listener discretion is advised, and our content is shared in good faith for entertainment and information purposes only.